There is a road that moves away from town, a road that begins with neat curves and painted lines, and gradually loses its certainty, becoming softer, quieter, less sure of where it is going. The houses along this road grow fewer the farther you travel, and the spaces between them fill with tall grass and low bushes that lean gently in whatever direction the wind has chosen for the evening. The air changes, too, as you move along this road. It becomes cleaner, lighter, carrying with it the faintest trace of salt, a taste more than a scent, something that touches the back of your throat and tells you, before your eyes can confirm it, that the sea is near. The light changes as well, becoming wider, more open, as the trees thin out and the sky expands above you, vast and pale and edged with the soft colors of a day that is slowly, peacefully drawing to a close. If you follow this road long enough, past the last mailbox, past the place where the pavement thins and cracks, and finally gives way to a path of packed earth and pale sand, you will find a small house. It is the last house. There is nothing beyond it but the dunes and the grass and the wide, still expanse of the sea. You have been here before. Perhaps not in waking life, but somewhere in the quiet hours of half-sleep, you have known a place like this. You have known the feeling of arriving somewhere that asks nothing of you. The house at the end of the road is that kind of place. It does not ask you to be anything other than what you are right now, in this very moment, as you settle in and let the day begin its slow, unhurried departure. The house itself is modest and low, built close to the ground as though it has always been part of the landscape. Its shingles have been weathered by years of salt air and gentle rain, turned to a soft, silvery gray that catches the last light of the afternoon in a way that makes the whole structure seem to glow faintly from within. The roof slopes at an easy angle, and there is a chimney at one end, though no smoke rises from it tonight. The windows are simple, framed in white wood that has been painted and repainted so many times that the edges have become smooth and rounded, like stones worn by water. A small porch wraps around the front of the house, just wide enough for a chair and a small table, and the boards creak softly underfoot as you step onto them, a familiar sound, a welcoming sound. You do not hurry. There is no reason to hurry here. The front door is slightly ajar, as though the house has been expecting you, and you push it open with the flat of your hand. It swings inward on quiet hinges, and the air that greets you is cool and still, carrying with it the faintest scent of cedar and old wood and something else, something clean and salt-tinged that has drifted in through the windows from the sea beyond the dunes. Inside, the house is dim and calm. The light that comes through the windows is the soft, amber light of late afternoon, the kind of light that stretches long across floors and walls, the kind that makes every surface it touches look warm and gentle. The floorboards are wide and smooth, darkened with age, and they give slightly beneath your weight as you walk, a quiet yielding that feels almost like the house is breathing along with you. There is a rug near the doorway, a simple thing woven in muted tones of blue and sand, and you step onto it and feel the soft fibers beneath your feet, and for a moment you simply stand there, feeling the stillness of the room settle around you like something you could wrap yourself in. You take a breath, a slow and easy breath, and the air tastes faintly of the sea, faintly of wood, faintly of something warm and old and reassuring that you cannot name, but that you recognize. The way you recognize a voice heard in childhood, or a song that you did not know you knew until you heard it again. This house has that quality. It feels not new, but remembered. It feels like returning. There is a coat hook by the door, a simple wooden peg set into the wall, and you hang nothing on it, but you notice it, and the noticing is itself a kind of settling in, a kind of taking stock, the way your eyes move over a room and find each small familiar thing and say, without words, yes, this is right, this is here, this is as it should be. There is a pair of worn sandals by the door, their soles thin from walking on sand, and a small woven basket on a low shelf that holds nothing but a few smooth stones, the kind you might pick up on a beach without thinking, drawn to their shapes, their colors, their cool, satisfying weight in the palm of your hand. You pick one up now, turning it between your fingers, feeling the way the surface has been polished by water and time until it is as smooth as glass, and then you set it back in the basket, gently, and move deeper into the room. The main room is not large, but it feels spacious in the way that simple, uncluttered spaces do. There is a low sofa along one wall, covered in a faded linen fabric the color of driftwood, and a few cushions rest against its arms in shades of pale blue and cream. A small wooden table sits beside it, its surface bare except for a single book, its cover worn soft with reading. Against another wall stands a narrow bookshelf, half filled with paperbacks whose spines have faded to gentle pastels, and beside it a chair with a woven seat, the kind of chair that seems to have been placed there long ago and never moved, as though it has found the exact spot where it belongs. You move through the room slowly, not because you are tired, though perhaps you are, but because there is a quality to this place that invites slowness. Each step feels deliberate and unhurried. You let your hand trail along the back of the sofa as you pass, feeling the texture of the linen beneath your fingertips, and then you are at the window, looking out at the view that has been waiting for you. The land beyond the house is gentle and open. The dunes rise in soft, rounded shapes, covered in pale green grass that sways in a rhythm so steady and even that it seems almost like the earth itself is breathing. Beyond the dunes you can see the line where the sand meets the sky, and there, far out, the sea. It is calm tonight, a wide, flat expanse of water that holds the color of the sky in its surface, a blend of soft gray and the palest blue, and the light that rests upon it is the kind of light that makes distance feel peaceful rather than vast. There is no urgency in that horizon. It simply is the way it has always been, the way it will always be. You open the window. It takes only a small effort, a gentle push upward, and the frame slides along its track with a sound like a quiet sigh. The air that comes in is cooler than the air inside, and it carries with it the sound of the sea, not loud, not crashing, but a low and steady murmur, a sound so constant, and even that it seems less like a sound and more like a feeling, a presence that fills the room without crowding it. You stand there for a moment, letting the breeze move across your face and through your hair, and you breathe in, and the breath comes easily, filling your lungs with the clean, salt-softened air of this place. The air seems to loosen something in your chest, something that has been gathered there tight and small for longer than you realized, and as you breathe out, that tightness goes with it, carried away by the breeze, out through the window, over the dunes, and into the vast open space where the sky meets the sea. You breathe in again, the same clean air, the same gentle loosening, and out again, and in again, each breath a little slower than the one before, a little deeper, a little more complete, until the breathing itself has become a kind of rhythm, a kind of gentle repeating pattern that requires no thought, no effort, only the simple willingness to stand here and receive what the evening is offering. There is another window on the far side of the room, and you cross to it now, your footsteps quiet on the wooden floor. This one looks out toward the west, where the sun has begun its slow descent toward the horizon. The light here is warmer, deeper, a golden amber that spills across the sill and pools on the floor in a shape that shifts so gradually you would not notice the movement unless you watched for a long time. You open this window too, and now the air moves through the house in a gentle, unhurried current, carrying the scent of salt and grass and the faintest trace of something floral, perhaps the wild roses that grow in low tangles along the edge of the path outside. The house is breathing now, in its own quiet way. The curtains, thin and white, lift and fall with each small movement of the breeze, and the light that comes through them is softened and diffused, casting everything in a gentle, hazy glow. You can hear the sounds of the evening beginning to gather outside. The birds that have been active all day are starting to settle, their calls becoming less frequent, shorter, softer, as though they too are winding down, finding their places among the branches and the eaves. Somewhere in the grass beyond the window, a cricket begins its slow, repeating song, a single note played over and over, steady as a heartbeat. You turn from the window and move toward the kitchen, which is really just the far end of the main room, separated by a low counter made of the same weathered wood as the floors. The kitchen is small and tidy, everything in its place. There are a few ceramic bowls on a shelf, smooth and round, glazed in soft shades of blue and white. A kettle sits on the stove, an old-fashioned kettle with a curved handle, its surface dulled by years of use. You fill it with water from the tap, and the sound of the water running is clear and steady, a simple, satisfying sound. You set the kettle on the burner and turn the knob, and there is a small click, and then the soft hiss of the flame catching, a quiet, contained warmth. While the water heats, you take a mug from the shelf. It is your favorite, or it becomes your favorite the moment you pick it up. It is a small, sturdy thing, round and smooth, with a glaze the color of sea glass, a pale, cloudy green that feels cool against your palm. You hold it for a moment, feeling its weight, its solidity, and there is something reassuring about it, something grounding, the way a familiar object can remind you that you are here, that you are present, that this moment is real and quiet and entirely your own. The kettle begins to hum a low, building sound that fills the small kitchen with a warmth that is not just physical. You wait for it, not impatiently, but with the kind of easy attention you might give to watching clouds move across a wide sky. The hum deepens, steadies, becomes a soft, continuous tone, and the steam begins to rise from the spout, a thin, curling thread of vapor that catches the amber light from the window and seems to glow for just a moment before disappearing into the still air. When the water is ready, you pour it over a tea bag in your mug, and the steam rises in a thin, curling line, and the scent that unfolds is gentle and herbal, something like chamomile, something like dried lavender, something that speaks of fields and gardens and quiet afternoons. You let it steep, watching the color deepen slowly from clear to a pale honeyed gold. You wrap both hands around the mug and feel the warmth move into your palms, into your fingers, a gentle, spreading heat that seems to soften something inside you, some small tension you did not know you were carrying. The mug is smooth and solid in your hands, and you hold it close to your face for a moment, letting the steam rise past your cheeks. And the scent is soothing and familiar, the kind of scent that seems to say, without words, that everything is well, that the evening is unfolding exactly as it should. You carry the mug back to the main room and settle onto the sofa. The cushions give way beneath you, soft but supportive, and you lean back and let your shoulders drop and feel the tension that you did not even know you were carrying begin to loosen and release. The mug is warm in your hands, and you bring it to your lips and take a small sip, and the tea is exactly what you needed, though you did not know you needed it. It is warm and mild and slightly sweet, and it moves through you like a slow, gentle wave, easing something deep inside that has been tight and tense for longer than you can remember. The light in the room is changing. The gold and amber of the late afternoon has deepened into something richer, something closer to the color of honey or dark amber, and the shadows have grown longer, stretching across the floor in soft, dark shapes that seem to move with the same slow rhythm as the curtains in the breeze. The book on the table beside you catches your eye, and you pick it up, not with any real intention of reading, but simply because it is there, and because holding it feels right. You open it to a page somewhere in the middle, and the words are there, printed in a clean, simple font, but you do not read them so much as let your eyes rest on them, following the lines as they move across the page, letting the shapes of the letters become a kind of gentle pattern, a kind of quiet rhythm that asks nothing of your mind but the simplest, most effortless attention. After a while, you set the book down again, open, face down on the arm of the sofa, marking a place you may or may not return to. It does not matter. Nothing here is waiting to be finished or completed. Everything is simply as it is, and that is enough. You lean your head back against the cushion of the sofa and let your gaze drift upward toward the ceiling. It is made of the same wide planks as the floor, and there are knots in the wood, small, dark eyes that have been there for decades, watching over the room with a patience that is not human, but is comforting all the same. A small spider has spun a web in the corner where the wall meets the ceiling, and the web catches the fading light and holds it, a tiny trembling net of silver, and the spider sits at its center, perfectly still, perfectly calm, as though it too has decided that the evening is a time for rest and not for effort. The light from the western window has reached its deepest, warmest shade, a color that is almost amber, almost gold, almost the color of the tea you have been drinking, and the room feels held in that color, wrapped in it as though the light itself is a kind of blanket, a kind of warmth that has nothing to do with temperature and everything to do with the feeling of being in a place that is gentle and slow and safe. You take another sip of tea and look around the room. The house has a quality that you have noticed before in places that have been lived in gently for a long time. There is a softness to everything, not a softness of neglect, but of care, of years of hands touching surfaces, of feet crossing floors, of light falling through windows day after day after day. The walls are painted a warm, creamy white that has mellowed over time into something almost golden. And there are a few small pictures hanging here and there, simple prints in plain frames, images of the sea and the dunes and the wide open sky. They are not remarkable, but they are right. They belong here in the same way that the chair belongs in its corner and the rug belongs by the door. The evening is settling in now, not suddenly, not with any announcement or fanfare, but with the quiet, steady certainty of something that happens every day and has happened every day for as long as anyone can remember. The light outside the windows has taken on a deeper hue, a soft, dusky blue that is not quite night, but is no longer day, and the sounds of the world have changed with it. The birds have grown almost entirely quiet now, their songs replaced by the gentle, persistent chorus of crickets and the low, distant murmur of the sea. The breeze has softened too, becoming less a breeze and more a whisper, a barely perceptible movement of air that carries with it the coolness of the coming night. You rise from the sofa, slowly taking your time, and carry your mug to the kitchen. You rinse it under the tap, the water running clear and cool over your hands, and set it upside down on the counter to dry. The small, ordinary actions of this routine feel satisfying in a way that is hard to explain, as though the simplicity itself is a kind of comfort, a reminder that not everything needs to be complicated or demanding or urgent. Before going inside to the bedroom, you step out onto the back porch. The porch is small, just a few planks of weathered wood and a low railing, but it opens onto the whole of the evening, the dunes and the grass and the wide, dark sky. You stand there for a moment, your hands resting lightly on the railing, feeling the wood, cool now with the night air, smooth beneath your fingers. The world in front of you is vast and quiet and still, and you are a small, warm presence at its edge. And the feeling of that, the feeling of being small and held and safe within something so large and so gentle, is a feeling that you carry with you always, even when you are far from here, even when you have forgotten this place. It is a feeling that lives in the very center of you, and it is here, now, as real and as steady as the ground beneath your feet. The beach grass moves in the breeze, each blade swaying in its own rhythm, but all of them together creating a single, continuous motion, like the surface of a lake stirred by a gentle wind. The sound it makes is the softest of all the night sounds, a quiet, papery whisper that rises and falls with the breeze, and you let it wash over you, let it fill the small open space in the porch, let it become part of the air you breathe and the quiet you feel. An owl calls from somewhere in the distance, a single, low note, round and full, that carries across the open land and fades slowly, slowly, until it is gone. You wait, and after a moment it calls again, the same note, unhurried, unworried, a sound that belongs so completely to the night that without it the darkness would feel somehow incomplete. You listen to it, not with attention, but with a kind of gentle, open awareness, the way you might listen to rain on a roof or the ticking of a clock in an empty room, sounds that are simply there, simply present, asking nothing. The stars are brighter now. More have appeared since you last looked, filling in the spaces between the first, early ones, and the sky has become a deep, soft field of tiny lights, each one steady and patient and very, very far away. You look up at them, tilting your head back, and the cool air moves across your throat and your face, and the stars seem to pulse faintly, gently, as though they are breathing along with the night, along with you. You stand there for a while, not thinking, not planning, not doing anything at all, just standing and looking and breathing and being. The night is all around you, and it is kind, and it is patient, and it will wait for you for as long as you need. But the coolness is settling deeper now, and there is a warmth inside the house that calls to you gently, not with urgency, but with a quiet invitation, the way a bed calls to a tired body, not demanding, but simply there, ready, waiting. You turn from the railing and step back inside, pulling the screen door closed behind you. It shuts with a soft click, and the sounds of the night are slightly muffled now, slightly more distant, as though they have taken a small step back to give you space, to give you room to settle, to find your way to rest. There is a lamp in the corner of the room, a small, simple lamp with a shade made of frosted glass that softens its light into a warm, golden glow. You switch it on, and the room changes instantly, not dramatically, but gently, the way a room changes when a candle is lit, the shadows deepening, and the surfaces nearest the light taking on a warm, amber tone. The rest of the room recedes into a soft dimness that feels not dark but sheltering, as though the walls themselves have drawn a little closer, creating a space that is smaller and warmer and more intimate. You stand in the middle of the room for a moment, simply being there. The lamplight moves gently with the breeze from the windows, casting slow, shifting patterns on the walls and ceiling, and you watch them without thought, letting the shapes and the light fill your awareness the way music might fill a room, present but undemanding. The house is quiet around you, and the quiet is not empty but full of the small, steady sounds that make up the life of a place like this. The soft creak of a beam settling, the distant rhythm of the waves, the whisper of the curtains as they lift and fall, lift and fall. You move to close the front windows part way, not all the way, just enough to soften the breeze and let in the sounds of the night without the coolness becoming too much. The window slides down smoothly, and the curtains settle, and the room feels a little stiller, a little more enclosed, a little more like a place where sleep might come easily and without effort. There is a hallway at the back of the main room, a short, narrow passage, with the floor of the same smooth, dark wood. You walk along it, and the boards are warm beneath your bare feet, heated by the day's sun that has been stored in the wood and is now releasing slowly, gently, into the cooling air. The walls of the hallway are bare, except for a single small photograph in a simple wooden frame, and in the dim light you can just make out the image, a stretch of beach, empty and wide, with a sky full of clouds that look soft enough to rest upon. You do not stop to study it, but you notice it as you pass, the way you notice a familiar face in a room, with a quiet, easy recognition that requires no thought and no effort. There is a bathroom at the end of the hallway, a small, tiled room with a porcelain sink and a round mirror that catches the faint light from the hallway and holds it, a soft, pale circle in the dimness. You step inside and turn on the tap, and the water runs cool over your hands, and you splash it gently on your face, feeling the coolness against your skin, feeling the last traces of the day being washed away, gently, simply, the way the tide washes the sand smooth at the end of each afternoon. You dry your face with a towel that is soft and thick and smells faintly of lavender, the kind of towel that has been washed many times and dried in the sun and folded carefully and placed on the shelf for exactly this moment. You hang it back on its hook and turn off the tap, and the silence of the house fills the small room, gentle and complete. You step back into the hallway. The hallway leads to 2 rooms, one on either side, and you turn to the left toward the bedroom. The bedroom is the simplest room in the house. There is a bed, wide and low, made up with white sheets and a quilt that has been washed so many times it has become as soft as anything you have ever touched. The quilt is a patchwork of pale colors, blues and greens and the softest gray, stitched together in a pattern that is both regular and soothing, like the squares of a calm, still sea seen from far above. There is a small table beside the bed, and on it a glass of water, clear and still, and a second lamp, this one even smaller than the first, with a shade of pale linen that turns its light into something barely brighter than candlelight. The window in this room faces the sea. You can see it through the glass, the dark, quiet expanse of water that stretches out to the horizon, and above it the sky, which has deepened now from dusky blue to a rich, soft indigo. The first stars have appeared, not many, just a few, scattered across the highest part of the sky like tiny, distant lights, and they seem to pulse faintly, as though they are breathing along with you, along with the house, along with the steady, rhythmic sound of the sea. You do not turn on the lamp in the bedroom. There's no need. The light from the hallway spilling in through the open door is enough to see by, and the darkness in the room is gentle and welcoming. Not the kind of darkness that hides things, but the kind that holds them, the kind that wraps around you softly and tells you that it is time to rest. You sit on the edge of the bed. The mattress gives beneath your weight, and you can feel the softness of the quilt under your hands as you press your palms against it, feeling the texture of the stitching, the gentle ridges where one piece of fabric meets another. You swing your legs up and lie back, and the pillows receive your head with a quiet, yielding softness, and the sheets are cool against your skin, a coolness that feels clean and fresh and wonderfully soothing. You settle your body into the bed, making the small adjustments that are part of the quiet ritual of lying down. You shift your shoulders slightly, finding the place where they rest most naturally against the mattress. You turn your head on the pillow until it sits at just the right angle. You let your arms come to rest at your sides, palms down, fingers relaxed and slightly curled, and you feel the sheet beneath them, smooth and cool. You take a breath, a long, slow breath, and as you exhale, you feel your body become a little heavier, a little more settled, as though the breath itself is carrying away the last small weights of the day, leaving you lighter and stiller with each exhalation. Your feet are warm under the quilt. Your ankles have relaxed, and your calves, and the muscles along your thighs, and you can feel the mattress supporting you along the entire length of your body, holding you evenly and gently, the way water holds a floating thing, with no effort, no strain, just the simple, natural support of something that is designed for exactly this purpose, for holding, for cradling, for allowing rest. For a moment you lie there with your eyes open, looking up at the ceiling. It is plain and white, and the faint light that reaches it from the hallway gives it a soft, pearly quality, like the inside of a shell. There is a crack in the plaster, a thin, wandering line that moves across the ceiling in a gentle curve, and you follow it to your eyes, not thinking about it, not wondering about it, just letting your gaze trace its path the way you might trace the path of a stream on a map, idly, peacefully. The sounds of the house are all around you now, and they are the sounds of settling, of a day ending and a night beginning. The beams creak softly, once, twice, and then are still. The curtains in the main room rustle faintly, and you can hear, just barely, the sound of the breeze moving through the grass outside, a sound so soft it is almost not a sound at all, but a feeling, a sense of motion that is gentle and ceaseless and deeply, profoundly calming. And beneath it all, like a foundation, like the lowest note in a chord that holds everything else in place, is the sound of the sea. It is not loud. It is not close. It is simply there, steady and constant, a slow, rhythmic pulse that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The waves do not crash on this shore. They arrive gently, rolling in with a soft, hushing sound, and then pulling back with a whisper, and then rolling in again, and back again, and in again, a rhythm so even and so predictable that after a while you stop hearing it as a series of separate sounds and begin to feel it, instead as a single, continuous presence, a gentle rocking that seems to move not just through the air, but through the house itself, through the bed, through the pillow beneath your head, through the slow, easy rise, and full of your own breathing. Outside, the night has its own quiet life, its own gentle routines. A frog calls from somewhere in the reeds near the edge of the dunes, a single clear note, repeated at intervals so regular they seem timed, measured, patient. Another frog answers from a slightly different direction, and together they create a simple two-note melody that rises and falls, blending with the sound of the sea and the rustle of the grass into something that is not quite music and not quite silence, but something in between, something restful and natural and old. If you listen carefully, you can hear the smallest sounds within the larger ones, the tiny rustle of a leaf turning in the breeze, the soft pad of some small nocturnal creature crossing the sand, the distant, barely audible hum of the air itself moving across the open land, carrying with it the scent of salt and sand and the cool, clean emptiness of the sea. But you do not need to listen carefully. You do not need to listen at all. The sounds are simply there, surrounding you, filling the room with a gentle tapestry of presence that requires nothing of you, no attention, no effort, no response. They are the sounds of the world going about its quiet, nightly business, and they ask nothing of you but that you rest while they continue steady and unhurried into the deepening hours. You pull the quilt up to your chest. It is light and warm, and the weight of it is comforting without being heavy, like the weight of a hand resting gently on your shoulder, like the weight of reassurance, of safety, of the simple, unspoken knowledge that you are exactly where you need to be. The fabric is soft against your chin, and you tuck it under your arms and feel the way it drapes over your body, conforming to your shape, holding the warmth of you close. Your eyes are still open, but they are growing heavy. The ceiling above you has become a soft blur, the crack in the plaster no longer distinct, but fading into the general warmth and dimness of the room. The light from the hallway is gentle and distant, a pale, golden glow that reaches just far enough to outline the shapes of the room without illuminating them fully. The edge of the table, the curve of the glass of water, the smooth, dark frame of the window where the night sky rests, deep and calm and full of stars. You turn your head on the pillow slowly and look toward the window. The stars are brighter now, more numerous, scattered across the sky in patterns that seem both random and deeply ordered, as though they have been placed there by someone with an infinite amount of time and an infinite amount of care. You do not try to name them or trace the shapes of the constellations. You simply look at them, letting your eyes move from one to the next, each one a small, steady point of light in the vast, quiet darkness. And there is something in the looking that is itself a kind of rest, a kind of letting go. The breeze moves through the grass outside the window, and the sound it makes is like a long, slow exhalation, as though the whole world is breathing out, releasing the last of the day's warmth and energy into the cool, open night. You breathe with it a deep, slow breath that fills your lungs and then releases, and as you breathe out, you feel something loosen in your chest, something you have been holding without knowing it, and the loosening feels like relief, like the moment when a knot you have been working at finally comes undone, gently, without effort, simply because it was time. The house is very quiet now. The sounds that remain are the smallest sounds, the ones that are always there, but that you only hear when everything else has fallen away. The faint tick of the house cooling, the wood and the plaster and the glass all releasing the warmth they have gathered during the day, contracting by fractions so small they are almost imperceptible, but making, as they do, these tiny, gentle sounds that are like a kind of conversation, a kind of murmuring between the parts of the house as they settle together into the night, and the sea, always the sea, that steady, patient rhythm that has been there since long before the house was built and will be there long after. A sound that is older than anything you know, older than memory, older than words. A sound that asks for nothing and gives everything. A sound that says, simply and without ceasing, that the world is still here, that the night is gentle, that you are safe. You close your eyes, not because you have decided to, not because you are making an effort to sleep, but because they close on their own, the way a door swings shut when the latch has been released, gently, naturally, without resistance. The darkness behind your eyelids is warm and soft, a darkness that is not the absence of light but a presence in itself, a gentle velvet weight that settles over your awareness like the quilt that settles over your body, holding you, cradling you, wrapping you in a stillness that is complete and unbroken. The sounds of the night continue, but they are more distant now, as though you have stepped back from them, as though there is a soft, transparent curtain between you and the world, and the sounds that pass through it are muffled and gentle and far away. The sea is still there, that steady rhythm, but it has become less a sound and more a feeling, a gentle rocking that seems to come from inside you, as though your own heart has found the rhythm of the waves and is beating in time with them, slow and steady and calm. You are warm. You are comfortable. The pillow beneath your head is soft, and the sheets are smooth, and the quilt is light and warm, and the air that moves through the room is cool and clean and carries with it the faintest scent of salt and grass and the distant, almost imagined fragrance of wildflowers. Your body feels heavy in the way that a body feels heavy when it has finally truly let go, when every muscle has released its tension, and every joint has softened, and every part of you has sunk into the mattress with a weight that is not tiredness, but surrender, the good kind of surrender, the kind that comes when you know you are held, when you know you are safe, when you know there is nothing you need to do and nowhere you need to be. The lamp in the other room still glows, but its light is very far away now, a faint, warm presence at the edge of your awareness, like a distant lighthouse seen from a great distance, steady and reassuring, and asking nothing of you but your continued rest. You may have forgotten to turn it off, or perhaps you left it on deliberately, a small, quiet companion in the dark house, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest night there is warmth, there is light, there is a small, steady flame that burns without flickering, without wavering, without asking anything of you at all. It does not matter. It is simply there, and its being there is a kind of comfort, a kind of presence that fills the house with the softest possible glow, a glow that you cannot see with your eyes closed, but that you can feel somehow at the very edges of your awareness, like the warmth of a nearby hand, like the presence of someone who's watching over you while you sleep. The house holds you. The night holds you. The sound of the sea holds you, and your breathing has slowed to match it, and each breath is a wave that comes and goes, easy and effortless and rhythmic. There was a time, earlier today, when you were somewhere else, doing something else, thinking about things that seemed important, but those thoughts have gone now, drifted away like clouds that were never really solid to begin with, and in their place there is only this, only the darkness and the warmth and the slow, steady rhythm of the waves and your breath and the gentle, settling sounds of the house around you. You do not need to think about tomorrow. You do not need to think about anything. There is only this moment, this bed, this room, this house at the end of the road, and the vast, quiet night that stretches out in every direction, gentle and dark and full of peace. The stars are still there, outside the window, though you cannot see them now with your eyes closed. But you can feel them, somehow, the way you can feel the presence of the sea, even when you cannot see it, a vast, quiet expanse that is both far away and very near, and the feeling of them is a kind of comfort, a reminder that the world is large and old and patient, and that within all that largeness there is this small, warm place where you lie, and it is enough. It is more than enough. It is everything you need. Your breath comes and goes. The waves come and go. The breeze comes and goes. Everything moves in its own slow, steady rhythm, and you are part of it, not separate from it, not watching it from a distance, but woven into it the way a thread is woven into a fabric, the way a note is woven into a melody, present and connected and held in place by something larger and gentler than yourself. The minutes pass, but you do not count them. Time has become something soft and fluid here, something that does not tick or rush or press, but simply flows, like water, like air, like the slow, easy movement of your breath, in and out, in and out. The house settles a little more, a quiet creak, a gentle sigh, and the curtains in the other room lift once more, and then are still, and somewhere outside, very far away, an owl calls, a single low note that hangs in the air for a moment and then fades, and then there is silence again, or not silence exactly, but the deep, full quiet that is made up of 1,000 small, soft sounds all layered together. The sea, the breeze, the house, the night. You are drifting now. Not falling, not sinking, but drifting, the way a leaf drifts on the surface of a still pond, barely moving, held by the water, supported by it, carried by it in a direction that does not matter, toward a destination that does not exist, because the drifting itself is the destination, the drifting itself is the arrival, and there is nowhere else you need to be. The quilt is warm around you. The pillow is soft beneath your head. The sheets are smooth and cool against your skin, and the darkness behind your eyes is deep and gentle and complete. The sound of the sea is very far away now, a distant, rhythmic whisper that is almost indistinguishable from the sound of your own breathing, and perhaps they are the same thing. Perhaps they have always been the same thing, the waves and the breath, the in and the out, the coming and the going, all part of the same slow, steady, endless rhythm that holds everything together and asks for nothing in return. And if there is a thought in your mind, it is not a thought so much as a feeling, a quiet, settled feeling, like the feeling of a stone that has come to rest at the bottom of a clear, still pool, motionless and calm and perfectly, peacefully at home. You are here. You are safe. The house holds you, and the night holds you, and the sea sings its slow, ancient song, and everything is quiet, and everything is still, and everything is exactly as it should be. The quilt holds the warmth of your body close to you, and the warmth is a gentle, encompassing thing, not hot, not stifling, but just warm enough, the way a summer evening is warm after the sun has gone, the way the sand is warm beneath your feet at the end of a long, quiet day. Your fingers, resting on the edge of the quilt, are relaxed and still, and your arms are heavy and soft at your sides, and your chest rises and falls with each slow breath, and each breath is a little deeper than the last, a little slower, a little more like the breathing of someone who has set down every burden and every concern and has nothing left to carry. The house makes its small sounds. A timber shifts in the wall with a low, settling groan. The window frame contracts with a tiny, barely audible click. The floorboards in the hallway, still warm, release a soft creak, and then another, as though someone is walking very slowly and very gently along the corridor. But no one is walking. It is only the house. Only the wood and the plaster and the glass, all doing what they do every night, settling and cooling, and finding their places in the quiet architecture of the dark. And the sea. The sea does not settle. The sea does not stop. The sea continues as it always continues, its waves arriving and departing with the same patient, unhurried rhythm they have kept for longer than anyone can remember, a rhythm that is older than the house, older than the road, older than the dunes and the grass and the stones on the beach. It is a rhythm that has no beginning and no end, only a middle, only this moment, only this wave, arriving now, hushing softly against the sand, and then drawing back, and then the next wave arriving now, hushing softly, and drawing back, and the next, and the next, and the next. The night moves on, as it always does in its own unhurried way, and the stars turn slowly overhead, following paths that were laid down long before you were born, and the moon, which you have not thought about until now, is there too, somewhere above the roof of the house, a pale, quiet presence that casts its light over the water and the dunes and the grass, a light so gentle and so soft that it does not wake you or stir you, but simply rests upon the world like a blessing, like a hand laid softly on a sleeping forehead, like the quietest, most tender kind of love. And you breathe, in and out, in and out. And the sea breathes, in and out, in and out. And the house breathes, and the night breathes. And everything is one slow, continuous breath, one long, gentle exhalation that carries you deeper and deeper into the soft, warm darkness where there are no thoughts and no worries and no demands, only rest, only stillness, only the quiet, steady rhythm of the world turning gently on its axis, carrying you with it, holding you as it has always held you, through every night and every sleep and every dream, safe and warm and perfectly, completely at peace. There is a place deep inside the stillness, where even the rhythm of the sea grows faint, where even the gentle sounds of the house fade to something barely perceptible, a distant hum, a low, continuous tone that is more vibration than sound. This is the place you are moving toward, not by choice, not by effort, but by the simple, natural pull of rest, the way a river moves toward the sea, not because it decides to, but because that is what rivers do, because that is the shape of the world, because gravity and patience and the slow passage of time all lead to the same place, to the quiet, to the deep, to the still. And here, in this place, there is nothing to do. There is nothing to remember. There is nothing to plan or solve or understand. There is only the warmth of the bed and the weight of the quilt and the softness of the pillow and the darkness, the beautiful, gentle darkness that holds you the way the sea holds a shell, completely, tenderly, without effort. You may notice somewhere at the very edge of your awareness that the breeze has grown even softer, that the curtains have grown even stiller, that the night has deepened to its richest, darkest shade of blue. But these are distant observations, like things seen from a great height, small and remote and unimportant. What matters is here, close, immediate. The warmth of the quilt, the steadiness of your breath, the quiet, enduring presence of the house around you, its walls and roof and windows standing between you and the night, not as barriers but as shelters, as guardians, as the gentle, silent keepers of your rest. Hours from now the sky will begin to lighten. The stars will fade one by one, and the deep indigo of the night will soften to the palest gray, and then to the faintest pink, and the first birds will begin to sing, quietly at first, just a note or two, and then more, and the light will grow, and the sea will catch it, and turn it to silver, and the dunes will emerge from the darkness, soft and pale and still. But that is hours away. That is another time, a time that does not concern you now, a time that will come on its own, in its own way, without your help or your attention. For now, there is only this, only the dark, only the warmth, only the quiet. The old house breathes around you, each sound so small and so familiar that it is almost like silence, like the purest, deepest silence you have ever known, a silence that is not empty but full, full of everything you need, full of rest and peace and the slow, steady turning of the world. And somewhere in the middle of that silence, in the very center of that stillness, you are there, and you are here, and you are asleep, or nearly so, drifting on the gentle current of the night, carried by the sound of the sea, held by the warmth of the bed, and everything is quiet, and everything is calm, and everything is soft, and everything is still. The quilt rises and falls with your breathing. The glass of water on the table catches the faintest light from somewhere and holds it, a tiny, still point of brightness in the dark room. The window frames the night sky, and the stars are there, distant and patient, and the sea is there, steady and sure, and the house is there, old and strong and kind, and you are there, resting, breathing, being held by all of it, by the night and the sea and the stars and the house and the soft, warm darkness that is everywhere and everything. And if you could see yourself from above, from very far above, you would see the house, small and silver in the moonlight, at the end of the road, at the edge of the land, and you would see the dunes stretching away on either side, pale and smooth, and the sea beyond them, vast and dark and gently moving, and you would see how small the house is, how small you are within it, and yet how perfectly you fit, how naturally you belong here in this place, in this moment, in this gentle, steady, unchanging night. And from that great height you might also hear the sea, faintly, like a memory, like a lullaby half remembered from a time so long ago it might have been another life, and you would know, without having to think about it, that the sound has always been there, that it will always be there, that it is as constant as the stars, as patient as the dunes, as gentle as the moonlight that falls over everything, touching everything, blessing everything, and asking for nothing in return. And so you rest, and so the night goes on, and so the sea continues its slow, eternal conversation with the shore, and the stars continue their slow, eternal turning, and the house continues its slow, eternal settling, and everything is as it has always been, and everything is as it will always be, and you are part of it, all of it, the way a breath is part of the air, the way a wave is part of the sea, the way a single, quiet note is part of a melody so large and so old that no one has ever heard all of it, and no one ever will, and that is not a sadness, that is a comfort, because it means the melody will never end, and neither will the night, and neither will the rest, and neither will the slow, sweet, steady feeling of being held, of being safe, of being home. The minutes do not pass, they simply are, each one the same as the one before, each one as gentle and as quiet and as unhurried as the waves that come and go along the shore outside. And within each minute there is nothing but stillness, nothing but warmth, nothing but the soft, dark, tender embrace of the night. Your hands are still, your feet are warm, your shoulders have settled into the mattress, and your neck has released the last of its tension, and your jaw has softened, and your eyes, behind their closed lids, are still and at peace. Every part of you is at rest. Every part of you has found its place, and the place is here, and the time is now, and there is nothing else, nothing at all, just this, just the house, just the bed, just the quilt and the pillow and the window and the stars, just the sea, steady and patient, singing its one long, low, endless note, just the breeze, barely there, barely moving, barely anything at all, but the softest, gentlest touch of air against the curtain, against the glass, against the sleeping world. Just this, just rest, just a quiet, simple act of being still, of letting go, of allowing the night to do what it has always done, what it does so well, so gently, so completely, to keep you, to carry you through the dark hours to the other side, where the morning waits, patient and unhurried, in no rush to arrive, content to let the night be the night for as long as the night needs to be. And you do not need to worry about the morning. You do not need to think about the light that will come, or the sounds that will change, or the house that will wake slowly and gently, as houses do. All of that will happen in its own time, in its own way. For now there is only this darkness, this warmth, this stillness, and it is enough. It is everything. It is the whole world contained in the gentle space between one breath and the next, between one wave and the next, between one heartbeat and the next. The coolness of the air at the window has settled into the room now, mixing with the warmth beneath the quilt, creating a feeling that is perfectly balanced, neither too warm nor too cool, but exactly right, exactly what your body needs, and your skin feels comfortable and calm, and every part of you feels comfortable and calm, and the feeling spreads through you like warm water spreading across a flat, smooth surface, slow and even and unhurried, until there is no part of you that is not at rest, no part of you that is not settled, no part of you that is holding on to anything at all. The frog has stopped calling, or perhaps it is still calling and you simply cannot hear it anymore, because you have drifted to a place where only the nearest sounds can reach you, and the nearest sound is your own breathing, and even that is growing faint, growing distant, growing soft, as though it belongs to someone else, someone who is sleeping deeply and peacefully in a small, warm house at the edge of the sea, and you are watching them from very far away, from somewhere high and quiet and still, and you are happy for them, happy that they have found this place, happy that they are resting, happy that the night is gentle, and the sea is steady, and the house is strong and kind. And if someone were to walk along the road, the long, quiet road that leads away from town, past the last mailbox, past the place where the pavement gives way to sand, they would see the house at the end, small and still in the moonlight, and they would see a single, faint glow from the lamp in the far room, and they would know that someone was sleeping there, sleeping deeply and peacefully and well, and they would smile, perhaps, and continue on their way, and the night would close around them, too gentle and dark and full of the same quiet, steady peace that fills the house, that fills the room, that fills the bed where you lie, warm and safe and still, breathing with the sea, breathing with the night, breathing with the slow, endless rhythm of the world. And the sea comes in, and the sea goes out, and the sea comes in, and the sea goes out, and each time it returns, it brings with it a little more quiet, a little more stillness, a little more of that deep, soft darkness that is the kindest darkness you have ever known. And each time it goes, it takes with it a little more of the day, a little more of the noise, a little more of everything that does not belong to this moment, until there is nothing left but the essential things, the simple things, the things that have always been and will always be, the warmth, the quiet, the breath, the night, and somewhere far beneath the surface of sleep, in a place that has no name and no location and no edges, you are there, resting, floating, held by something larger and gentler than you can imagine, and it is good, and it is peaceful, and it is exactly where you are meant to be. And the night goes on, and the sea goes on, and you go on breathing, resting, being, in the house at the end of the road where the world is quiet, and the air is clean, and the darkness is as soft as the softest thing you have ever touched, and there is no end, and there is no beginning, only the middle, only the gentle, endless middle of a night that will hold you for as long as you need to be held. And the stars shine, and the moon drifts, and the grass sways, and the sea murmurs, and the house stands, and you sleep, and everything is still, and everything is quiet, and everything is at peace, and the sea comes in, and the sea goes out, and the breeze moves softly through the grass, and the curtains lift and settle, and the old wood creaks just once, just barely, and then is silent again, and the stars turn slowly in their ancient, patient circles, and the moon moves along its gentle path, and the night deepens impossibly, beautifully, into something that is beyond dark, beyond still, beyond quiet, into something that simply is the way the sea simply is, the way the sky simply is, the way you lying here, breathing here, resting here simply are, and the quilt is warm, and the pillow is soft, and the sheets are smooth, and the air is cool, and the darkness holds you, and the silence holds you, and the night holds you, and the sea holds you, and you are held. You are held completely. You are held gently. You are held with a kindness that asks nothing, and expects nothing, and needs nothing from you but your willingness to rest, to let go, to sink a little deeper into the warmth, and the stillness, and the quiet. And you are willing. You are so willing, and so you sink, and so you rest, and so the night goes on, carrying you with it, the way a river carries a fallen leaf, gently, slowly, without effort, without destination, simply moving, simply flowing, simply being, in the direction of rest, in the direction of quiet, in the direction of the deep, soft, endless peace that waits at the center of every night, at the heart of every silence, at the still point of the turning world. And there is nothing more to say, and there is nothing more to hear, and there is nothing more to feel but the warmth and the weight and the soft, dark, beautiful nothing of a night that is perfect and complete and will not end until you are ready for it to end, and perhaps not even then, because some nights are so gentle and so kind that they leave a little piece of themselves behind, a little warmth, a little stillness, a little quiet that stays with you even after the morning comes, even after the light returns, even after the world begins again. And that little piece is a gift, a small, simple gift, from the night to you, from the house to you, from the sea to you, and you carry it with you, always, like a stone in your pocket, smooth and warm and round, a reminder that the quiet is always there, that the peace is always there, that the house at the end of the road is always there, waiting for you whenever you need it, whenever you are ready to come back, whenever you are ready to rest again. And the sea comes in, and the sea goes out, and you breathe in, and you breathe out, and everything is still, and everything is quiet, and everything is at peace,